Lesson 12. Creative thinking isn't a matter of working harder, it's a matter of thinking differently. Many times, this involves a lateral thinking phenomenon called a paradigm shift. A paradigm is a set of rules we use for evaluating information and incorporating it into our lives. Everyone has their own paradigms based on what their life experience has been. These paradigms are useful to you in many ways, but they can also be limiting. They can hide opportunity from you simply because your frame of reference doesn't acknowledge the existence of the opportunity. A perfect example of this is the story of how the Swiss went from being the world's leader in watch manufacturing to a minor player in just a decade. A Swiss researcher was the inventor of the quartz watch, but his idea was rejected by the watch manufacturer he worked for because watches just weren't made that way. So blind were the Swiss to the benefits of this new concept that they didn't even bother to patent the idea. The researcher took his quartz watch to a trade show shortly afterward, and there it was discovered by Seiko and Texas Instruments. They lacked the limiting paradigms of the Swiss and started manufacturing it immediately. Living through a paradigm is like always looking through the same windows and thus always seeing the same little segment of the world. You could go through your whole life looking through the same window and live a fine life. After all, having some kind of window is better than not having any. With only one window, entire vistas may be completely obscured, but if you've never seen them, you have no reason to think of them or feel deprived. A paradigm shift is, however, like suddenly discovering a new window through which all kinds of new things are visible, or through which old things can be seen in different ways. And once you know there's more than one window, it becomes easy to imagine that there might be even more windows someplace else. Somewhere in your mind, a light flicks on, and then another, and another. Paradigm shifts allow you to think outside your current patterns of thought, and thus come up with fresh new solutions. Talking about paradigm shifts is easier than making them, however. Although they sometimes occur in a flash of insight, the light bulb effect, more often it's a matter of shuffling around the problem and looking at it from all angles. Most important, you have to be aware that paradigms exist in order to think about looking outside of them.